How's everything going?
Things are going good. I'm actually back home in North Carolina, visiting my parents.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
took time.
they're
Go
off
ahead.
at work and I'm working. So talking to you.
So you left LA or were you recording in
Oh,
Baltimore?
we're based in Future Islands is based in Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're based out of there. But I like my partner is Swedish, so I've been in it took me a while to get over there because of the pandemic. I wasn't allowed to travel back, but I got back there from there about a month ago, and then we Future Islands went in the studio in Baltimore for a couple weeks, and then coming to visit my folks. So I haven't seen them since last August. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of it's just a weird way think the world is working right now.
How's it
Um,
been recording the album during this time? I mean, you guys are working on new music and worked on the past project. Was that recorded pre-pandemic or?
no, as long as you are was actually it was finished recording wise before the pandemic hit. But
Mhm.
we ended up finished mixing and mastering in during quarantine. So we I've talked about this in interviews. We had to do it. We did it over Zoom. Uh,
Oh,
we were like on a Zoom call with each other and our producer, and then we were hooked into an audio program set up through the internet so we could listen to the mixes. So it actually was kind of nice because it gave us kind of put us in a comfortable environment in our homes. Because sometimes the studio, like we're not really a studio band, we feel most comfortable in a live setting. That's like where at least that's where I get my joy from is performing the songs. Sometimes the studio can feel a little bit too much like work, you know, and you're just like, I want to go home. I don't want to be here. Like
there's too
this,
many things
this,
going on. I don't have
it's
my
too
PlayStation or
much like a
something.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for me, it's funny for me because as of course I'm a musician, but I don't play any instruments. So sometimes I get to feeling like a child in the studio setting because I it's hard for me to translate my ideas. It's like, no, like I had this idea and nobody's really listening. But that's why I take it all the glory on stage.
You're the dancing
Finally,
machine on the stage.
finally pay attention to me. Somebody's paying attention to me. No, but yeah, I mean, I think that studio setting, that kind of work is something that we've grown into over the years. I mean, me and Garrett and William have been making music since we were 18
Yeah.
together. So that that relationship has changed a lot from us, recording in our living rooms when we were 19 years old to being in a real studio. But yeah, right now, I mean, we don't have we aren't really writing or recording an album. We're actually like writing in real time in the studio, which
Oh
is really
wow.
exciting. So there were some demos that were worked out over, you know, while I was overseas, or but we've kind of been writing some songs like that over the years, when I'm away, because it takes time for me to fully find sometimes I write lyrics to a song in 30 minutes, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 months to find what I want to say, or to finish something off. But it's kind of cool to be in the studio recording as we're improvising ideas, and then kind of trying to focus on those ideas together. Um, it's not really new, but it's something we haven't done since that was the only way we could do it when we were just broke,
Exactly.
musicians in between tours. Because I mean, we wrote songs like that for our second and third album, On the Water and Singles, were both songs that were pretty much written in between tours, like when we had a week or two off. We'd write a song on a Friday and then play it live on the next Tuesday, out on the road.
Wow.
And so kind of create, just improvising, me pretty much improvising verses, maybe write a chorus, and then over time, the songs find themselves like on stage in front of an audience. But we don't have that ability right now, so we're trying to make use of that kind of kinetic energy in a room, to push ourselves to find what these songs are, because as much as I like going away and writing and focus myself, there's some lost. you know, there's something lost in that immediacy of and holding the microphone, you know,
Mm-hmm.
hearing your voice booming. It does something different. Because I mean, I'm gonna write a song in my bedroom and it's gonna be all like soft and quiet. And then I'm gonna get on stage and be like, I can't sing like that. Like that's not, you know, it's gonna like jump up a whole octave
Mm-hmm.
just because I'm feeling I sound a lot better on stage than I do when I'm in my bedroom. I just have that confidence and the adrenaline rush, I guess.
Will we ever get the bedroom recordings from you from Future Islands?
One day, one day when we're all out of inspiration, like here's the demos, here's the hundreds and hundreds of demos you never heard.
What inspires you when you're writing? Is it the melody first, or is it like do you come up with the lyrics? I mean, what's your writing process? Has it changed?
It's kind of a combo. Yeah, it hasn't changed a lot as far as the initial inspirations. Like I've always kind of um, you know, I would say the core of what Future Islands is really about that kind of synergy that William and Garrett have musically and
Mhm.
how that connects to me personally, emotionally. You know, I've always thought more that I'm not just trying to tell like a story of my life. You know, of course, like so
Yeah.
much of these songs are autobiographical to my life because that's my experience and that's what I have. Because of that, it's what I can you know, say something that I believe in. You know,
Mhm.
that's the whole point of what I'm always trying to do, which is say not the truth, but my truth, because it's all
Yep.
really all I have is my own experience in life. But but also, you know, I've always felt that, you know, it's about me translating the emotions of the music. You know, I don't say, you know, this thing happened to me the other day and I want to sing about it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go into this, listening to this song, this instrumental, or go into the studio with the guys and be like, I'm going to sing about this thing that happened. I really want to, I want it to be a symbiotic in a way so that the guys are creating, you know, because even they're without words, you know, the music they create is full of emotion, you
Yep.
know, and for like, you know, Garrett's was my best friend since we were 14 and he was always really quiet. But when he writes some really sad key chord progression, I'm like, he's so
Yes.
deep. It's like his heart, it blooms a fountain from inside. So so yeah, but you know, it's about trying to translate those feelings. So I really just want to, you know, hear an idea that pulls something from me. Of course, I don't write to everything that the guys bring to me,
Mhm.
or that they create in a room, but when they're connecting on something that I feel, you know, the words just come out. And yeah, it is, to me, it's the melody of words. You know, it's not, of course you're like hearing a melody, but it's you know, once the word kind of comes out, the first line of a verse or a chorus, then it kind of just sets things in motion to be like, what does that mean? What does that feel? But so much of it is less about thinking for me. You
Okay.
know, Future Islands music is, we've always tried to be far from pretentious. Maybe we still come off that way sometimes, but you know, it is supposed to
Not at
be
all.
about just like human emotion and the heart and feeling. So try not to overcomplicate or overthink things. But when I was a young writer, you know, I was a first draft, rough draft kind of guy. Like I was
Mhm.
like, it's what came out on the page. It's, you know, it's the truth. It's the raw truth. And as I've grown up, you know, I went through the stages of, oh, maybe I should take a second pass at this, tighten it up. And now I'm in like, you know, fourth drafts and fifth drafts to really try to find that. And there's something to be said for both things working. You know, there's things that I wrote when I was 18 and 19 that I would never write again because they sound ridiculous. But at the same time, they're they're so unfiltered and raw, and you know, you hear a person trying to figure something out, you
Yeah.
know, a young person, you know, exploring the creativity and emotion, and I'm like, that's so beautiful. It's actually, it's probably better than anything I could write now because the filter goes up, you know, as we get older, we start to filter those
Yeah.
feelings, and protect ourselves more. But when we're young, we're just so sure of ourselves, I think, in what we believe.
Which song took you the longest to write, you think?
Uh,
That
huh.
might be a hard one, but no.
Well, with the last record, I think, and actually, it's kind of funny because there's a few songs that follow in that line. With the last record, it was "Waking."
Mhm.
Took me a long time to pen, and every Future Islands album has a song that I finished the lyrics when I was recording the finished lyrics,
Mm.
because I've just like been putting it off, and I can't button it up. But Waking, I hear there's a similar musical line in Waking to a song called Virio's Eye off our second album, Evening Air. And that was another song that it took me 3 or 4 months to yeah, to find the ending, to find how to pull things together. And with Waking, it was more about me just fighting with, am I really saying anything? But that was also the point of the song that maybe some people miss, or maybe most people missed, is that that's what the song is about. Is
Mm.
about being so, the first lines of the song. I remember reading a review that was like, I don't know about this song, the first lines are so cliche. I've been sitting here thinking, what's my purpose, what's my meaning? And the point of that line is to say that when we're having these thoughts that we find are profound, like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
It is a cliche. Like, we're actually wasting time instead of finding those things, and going out into the world, and taking chances, and or reaching out to other people, lending a hand. We're laying in bed being profound, overthinking things. So that's kind of. But then I'm like fighting. I'm fighting with this idea for months. Like, is that enough? Is the sarcasm lost, in a sense?
But
But also there's beauty in that.
but also I think there's times in our lives where we go through that searching for that purpose too. And we question everything and rethink everything.
Yeah.
And that song, I was actually, it's funny that you bring that up, is that was one of my questions, is, the lyrics is, what have you your purpose? What do you think Future Islands purpose is after it's all said and done? What do you think, what do you want the purpose of Future Islands to be? What do you want to be known
I mean,
for?
I mean, I think for any of us, we want to be just respected for our music,
Mhm.
and what we brought in our time, and that what we did it hard. I think there's a difference between getting the respect and acclaim from a large audience, and getting the respect from fellow musicians.
Mhm.
That's a very different thing. And I had an art teacher when I was a kid that was like, you can trick the audience, but you can't trick the players.
Yeah.
And when you put in the work, you get the respect. And respect is something that's always been very important to me. It's something we speak about in our music,
A
through
lot.
through love,
Mhm.
and through giving people the ability to be themselves. We hope that from our music, I think with our music, our hope is that it opens people up to themselves,
Mm.
and through that, it opens people up to the people around them, to find love in themselves, to be able to not be afraid to share their emotions, to be
Yeah.
strong in your feelings of fragility, and understand that this is a human experience that we all go through. I mean, so much of what I do on stage is really trying to bear myself, for an audience.
Yeah.
So to say, like, I'm a grown man, and I will cry in front of you if it can take you to a place where you feel comfortable. That, I feel that our shows have always been a place where people feel they can come together, and be with strangers and feel free.
Mhm.
And not everybody is able to get to that place, but I've heard so many people say that to me, and I see that in the kind of people that appreciate our music. It is a place where, the music is a safe place for being oneself, and being free. And I think that's a really great thing to strive for, is you know giving people power through your art,
Yeah.
at least in hopes of giving people power through your art. um, and yeah.
You brought up touring. when touring's back, where's the first place you want to go?
I don't know. It's such a we'll literally go anywhere. I mean, it's one of those sad things. It's become like a common thing that every 2 months our manager writes us and is like, so those tour dates, we're gonna bump them back another three months. And we're like, cool, whatever. You know, at first it was like, oh, that's all right, we'll get on the road. And then it's like, cool, whatever. And he's like, so do you have any, like, I've shifted these dates, what do you think? Like, is this cool with everybody? It's like, dude, I don't care, just
just book the tour.
wherever you say, I'll go. Like, I mean, it would be fun to even just play. I think it would be fun to just play a show in Baltimore straight out, you know, just like do a big outdoor show for free for the city, you know, and those kinds of things. But yeah, I mean,
but with restrictions,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I will go anywhere.
The opening line, the opening sound of Born in War is like a beverage opening.
Yeah.
Was that recorded in the studio with someone actually open up a beverage, or was that afterwards? And what is your favorite beverage?
My favorite beverage? Well, probably iced coffee. Oh. Just when I'm home, you know, my parents use or I'm just like making with the French press, and I have a system where I make a French press. I take a little bit of hot coffee off the top, and then I let it sit, and then I start throwing ice into it. I told my parents, do not throw away my coffee, because I'll drink like 5-day-old coffee. Just put some ice cubes in it. Yeah, I know. It's that's where all these songs come from, man. Just zooted over here. But so that sound is a LaCroix can. Yeah, it's a little bubble water.
That's awesome.
Clear beer. But that was done with Mike and William. So Mike and William actually came up with they wrote the demo for Born in a War, which was kind of cool, because, you know, this was the first album with Mike as a full writer in the band, full member of the band. You know, he's been playing with us. He's been playing drums for us since the beginning of 2014.
Yeah.
But this was the first time having him as a writer, so it was a really new thing. And him and William like taking time to explore sounds and write a song together. So they brought that song to me and Garrett, and I was immediately taken with it. And you know, that was a song that I wrote those lyrics probably within a day. And I was just like, this is really good. I really
and you nailed it.
Yeah, I love that jam. So yeah, but that was a sound that they recorded in William's studio. He has like a garage, in a standalone garage in his backyard that him and his partner they made into a painting studio, and we practiced in there a good bit as well. So it's kind of a music and art studio. So that was a sound that William captured in his own space that was in the original demo, and then we just plugged it into the final version, because we're just like, it sounds kind of perfect. Like
it's a cool little opening too.
Keep that sound. Yeah.
What's been you seeing the Current is in Minnesota? What's been your favorite Minnesota memory, or Minneapolis even?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, the first time we played, I just have great memories of First Ave, of course. I think as any musician that gets to play at First Ave. But, you know, we had our start there playing the 7th Street Entry.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are great memories. But also I have wild memories about playing the Twin Cities too, because we played this record store. Maybe it was called Orion Records, probably all the way back in like in St. Paul, like all the way back in 2009 or 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just played to the opening band. And I'll never forget that we got to the venue, to the show, and you know, we just thought it was a record store show, which we'd done before, but you can't really expect a ton. And then we got there, and they had this really cool black box venue in the back of the venue, because it was a really large space. And we were looking around, like shopping records, and then we were there, and this guy had some mail. The guy at the store had some mail, and he was going through it, and he like opened this big mailer, and it was from William, and it was our like posters that we had mailed him weeks ago. And he just like pulls it out, and we're like, oh, those are the posters that we're supposed to go up on walls and things. And then we're like, this was the first time in the Twin Cities, and it was just like, nope, nobody saw those posters, nobody came. But let me think. I don't know. I had some good memories staying around the city. I remember being there once with a friend had moved there, and she just drove me around. It was in the wintertime, and we went out to a park that was just like covered in snow. And I don't know. I mean, I'm a North Carolina kid, so
Yeah.
like seeing snow in a real way in a place that knows how to deal with snow, and kind of the beauty of it is really special. But yeah, I mean, First Ave is such a legendary place, and I feel bad I forget the guy's name. There's like a famous security guard that's always there. I don't know if he's a security
I know
guard,
exactly who you're talking about.
you know the guy I'm talking about. Yeah,
Conrad,
Conrad, exactly.
Conrad's the man.
I love that guy. So, you know, every time we would go there, because we actually played the First Avenue stage before we played the 7th Street.
Oh, 7th.
Because we did a show with Dan Deacon out there.
Yep.
And it would have been 2009. So that's kind of how we you know, came in contact with the owners of the place, or the people that booked there.
Yeah.
And then when we wanted to book our own tour through, they were like, yeah, we'll set you up at the 7th Street. So it was really special. And the people promoting there, you know, I remember when we got to do our first headline, because it was maybe 3 more times before we did our own headline show. We came through with some other bands supporting on the main stage. And then when we did our very own, they took us up to the offices, and we had a beer together, and they're like, we're very proud of you. You know, you've come
to see where you come.
Yeah. You've come up from the 7th Street and opening, and now it's like it's your first headline and your first sellout. And we're really proud. And we're like, we're proud too. And it's great to see it grow.
When's the last time you had a battle rap? Or has that spark ever came back to you? Yeah, no, 14 years old, we're going back.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was probably, the last time I probably actually battled somebody was I was probably 25 or so, 25, 26. But I mean, I haven't been on stage. That's just like in a cypher.
Yeah.
But I have probably, the last time I battled on stage, I was probably 22 or 23. Yeah, those are good times, man. But you know, it's such a crazy thing. You know, the beauty and power of a cypher, you know, building with people, everyone just like, you know, using their mouths, like rapping over a beatbox is something that brought me so much joy as a young man, as a teenager into my, you know, into my 20s. And then something that just kind of fell away. I mean, it's an art that you really have to practice and keep up. And like I was talking about with the filter, you know, so much of being a great freestyle artist is just like having some strange connection to something that's outside. You know, it's just yeah, you're open. You know, I think freestyle artists will understand what I'm talking about, but being like, when you're open, you just like connect on this other level, and you're connecting things. You're like, it's like a beautiful mind.
You're seeing things, and you're picking up more vibes and everything else like that. And you have to react versus think about it more. I think it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, ciphering is. I love ciphering. Battling is fun, but it's about clout. And like, I once battled a kid in high school who destroyed me, and he wasn't even good. I actually went to our rival school. It was when I was probably 17, 18. I was in my senior year of high school. I went to the rival school when my school was playing a basketball game there, and just showed up and was like, who's your best rappers here? And they like, oh shit, this kid wants to rap. So like, bring this guy over. And I just remember there was this like 40, 50 people just surrounded us. And this guy just, you know, spit a 24 bar verse at me that the whole crowd was just yelling the punchlines. And then I started to rap, and was just like, you know, they're saying everything you're saying, and it's like obviously written as bullshit. And then everyone just boo. I and then I just remember the whole crowd just like booed as the boo boo, and I was still just standing there like, uh,
Oh man.
and I couldn't freestyle for like 4 months. I was stripped of all my power. I was just like, I guess I'm terrible. I didn't react to any. It was bad, but it's like, don't do that, Sam. Don't show up at other people's like.
No, and choose to pick the biggest guy in the school. It's like, hey, I want to fight with you. Let's go. It just being a small. I can imagine that one.
I mean, I ate up some of their MCs when they were at my school, so it was
So
fair.
there was a fair trade-off.
Fair, yeah.
You guys did a collaboration with Charm, or was it Creamer or Charmery, the ice cream shop in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
If you could do a collaboration with anyone, who would it be? Product and music. I'm putting you on the spot, man.
I mean, I'm gonna be straight up. I need a shoe deal. I got really my feet are messed up. I got like, my feet look like you shaved a bear's feet. They're crazy looking. Yeah, I'm flat footed. So I need some shoe game, because I've been rocking leather Converse for a long time, and it took me a long time to realize that they were destroying my knees.
Yes.
Maybe I can get like a platinum knee deal. Titanium. I need a titanium. So I have a torn ACL. Like my right knee ACL has been torn for like 5 years. And I'm still doing these high kicks and these squats, but it's getting more painful. So yeah, maybe I need some shoes.
Yeah. After the shows, you must just put in an ice bath all the time. Is that what happens?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes I'm too lazy. I just take another sip of tequila, try not to think about it. Yeah, that happens.
Tequila does some damage every once in a while too.
Yeah, it's true.
No, that's everything. It's been great talking with you, Sam.
Yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, Zeke.
And I'm excited to hear the new album that's in the works. The new album is great to listen to. I mean,
yeah, thank you so much.
And hopefully we'll get you back in the Twin Cities and play First Avenue again soon.
We'll be back.
Fingers crossed.
We'll be back.